Hey guys, welcome to Fix It in the Mix album reviews. I'm Chris. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at the debut album of Sons of Apollo, the album called Psychotic Symphony. Is it worth the wait? Let's dive into it. So Sons of Apollo are a brand new supergroup featuring an awesome lineup of talented musicians that have done so many different projects over the years, including Mike Portnoy, Derek Sherinian, Billy Sheehan, Bumblefoot, and of course the legendary Jeff Scott Soto on vocals. And with an awesome lineup like that, how can this album be bad? Gods of the Sun is the first track on the album and opens with some fantastic Egyptian-inspired melodies from Derek, providing some excellent synth work. Bumblefoot then kicks it off with a very, very cool triplet riff, which is impossible not to headbang to, and then it's backed up by the entire band. This band is absolutely on fire on this track. Jeff's vocals are fantastic, and it goes through so many different sections, and it's a great opener for the album, and it really showcases what's going to lie ahead throughout the rest of the album. Coming Home opens with a great unison run between Derek and Bumblefoot, and then it just moves into a really, really cool, no-nonsense, straight-up headbanging heavy rock track. It's fantastic. The musicianship is still on display here, but this track bounces. It has personality, and I think it's going to be a great addition to their live shows. Signs of the Time is heavy, it's up-tempo, it features some excellent laid vocals on this track as well, a very catchy chorus. Derek has once again proven to be one of the best in the business with some excellent keyboard work in this particular track. And as heavy as this track is, and as heavy as this album does get in parts, it's great to hear that these guys are not afraid to get quiet. They're not afraid to bring it down into a valley and get quiet and build a song. And it's really on display here. This song, by the way, features one of the best guitar solos I've heard on an album in quite some time. Excellent work from Bumblefoot here. It's not just mindless shredding, it's carefully composed, and the solo actually really accents what the rest of the band is playing. They really thought this one out, guys. It's a fantastic track. Definitely check this one out. I absolutely love the keyboards on Labyrinth. I think Derek, once again, is one of the best in the business. He gives us some fantastic keyboard work here. I mean, when has he ever not given us fantastic keyboards when you think about it? I love the instrumental work through this particular track. There's enough crazy polyrhythms and time signatures going on to keep all those prog metal elitists very happy. But what I love is the change up in structure with this particular song. It's not just the standard verse, chorus, 4-minute instrumental section. What they've done instead is they've changed it up by interweaving some verses throughout the instrumental section. So it feels like that there's not just a copy and paste sort of structure to the song. It flows. There's a nice ebb and flow to this track. Alive is definitely Sons of Apollo trying their hand at more of a commercial track. It's pretty much everything that you would want in a prog metal single. It's heavy. It's got a great vocal performance from Jeff on this one. Lost in Oblivion is progressive metal at its absolute finest. It's wacky, it's up-tempo, and Jeff really experiments more with a heavier vocal delivery on this track to really match Bumblefoot's frantic riffage. Mike Portnoy really shines on this track, and he once again cements why he's one of the best drummers in the prog rock genre. Figaro's Whore, weird song title I know, features Derek Sherinian with a keyboard intro that would definitely make John Lord extremely happy. What he's done with this one is he's infused a Hammond organ sound in with modern synths, and it's an absolute prelude into Divine's Addiction. And speaking of John Lord, this track, Divine's Addiction, has Deep Purple all over it. The riff is extremely headbanging, it's catchy, great vocals from Jeff, and I just couldn't stop moving to this track. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The outro to this song features the band collectively improvising and just jamming, and these boys, you can tell they are having so much fun playing this song. It should be a great addition into their live set as well. And the track fades out, and I really didn't want it to end. Opus Maximus, wow. My gosh, what an excellent instrumental. Jeff sits this one out and just lets these boys absolutely cut loose. It's great to hear Billy more up in the mix in this song as he really gets an opportunity to shine, as does everybody in this particular song. Towards the start of the track, I really love the off-kilter Mission Impossible inspired theme going on with the melody here. Guys, this track is absolutely brimming with ideas. So much creativity, so much interplay between the band members going on, where they make it all seem so effortless. At the 4 minute minute mark, there is this triplet run that is unison by the entire band, and it is absolutely jaw-dropping. And then it segues into keyboard solos, guitar solos, bass solos, and then just the interplay. It's just listen to it. It will absolutely blow your mind. And these guys, they're having so much fun, and it clearly shows, and it is a fantastic way to close off this album. I'm really not sure what else I could say about the performances on this album, guys. I mean, the talent on display here, these guys are the best of the best, and I'm a massive fan of all the bands and projects that these guys have done over the years. And the chemistry in this band, it works so well. I mean, these guys are clearly having fun. They make it all seem so effortless, and the musicianship on display is absolutely on fire, as you've come to expect from these guys. What I was a little bit worried about going into this album was that Jeff was not going to be given much to do on this album, but it's really not the case here. There's some excellent vocal layering going on throughout some of these tracks. There's some great melodies, and he is given plenty to do on the album. So it's not just that the vocals are more of an afterthought, they're a very integral part of the album. Now, as much as I think Mike Portnoy wants to get away from comparisons to Dream Theater of this project, it's really impossible to not draw comparisons from it, particularly when you've got two members that are in Sons of Apollo that were in Dream Theater. And while I think that there's similarities, particularly if you listen to the opening of Gods of the Sun and you listen to Home from Scenes from a Memory, there is definitely comparisons there. Check this out. There's definitely similarities, but with Sons of Apollo, there's so much identity, so much creativity, and so much personality brimming from these tracks that it's got enough of its own thing going on here to separate it from Dream Theater. Del Fuvio brothers, Mike Portnoy and Derek Sherinian produced this album. We got mixes that essentially work fairly decently. There's definitely more attention being given to Mike Portnoy's drumming and Derek Sherinian's keyboard work, while the other instruments do kind of get sidelined at points in the album. One minor complaint that I do have is that I feel that Billy's incredible bass work does get lost in the mix at some points. He does get moments to shine in, like Opus Maximus, where he really stands out in the mix, but otherwise his bass playing is more sidelined to providing more of a bedding for a lot of these tracks. Another thing to note is Bumblefoot's rhythm guitar tone. It's not a guitar tone I would have personally picked for this album, because we've got a lot of songs that are incredibly down-tuned. Whenever you do down-tune the guitar, you do start to lose definition and clarity, and you have to end up pushing the mid-presence region a lot more to cut through a mix. But here, it appears that they really didn't go in that direction, and he's providing some fantastic riffs that don't quite have the clarity and definition and punch that are required to really sell some of this excellent playing. Gotta say though, Bumblefoot's lead guitar tone is absolutely gorgeous to listen to, and he provides some, once again, I mean, he's one of the legends out there, one of the best shredders in the business. You know, on this album, he really gets plenty of moments to shine. I found the mastering on this album to be an interesting choice. What they've done here is they've coupled more modern compression, but they've actually made the EQing a little bit more mid-heavy, which is more reminiscent of the albums from the 70s and 80s that we grew up with. It was a really interesting choice. Personally, myself, I would have preferred more of a scoop sound, more akin to some of the later Dream Theater albums with Mike Portnoy, where I find that it works really well with this particular genre. But apart from those minor nitpicks, guys, it won't lessen your enjoyment of the album. The musicianship on display is absolutely stellar. The songs are great. It's one of the best albums of the year. I highly recommend it. And Sons of Apollo Psychotic Symphony easily gets an A. So guys, that's my thoughts on Psychotic Symphony, but what did you think of the album? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you have any favorite tracks? Would love to hear from you in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and of course, support the artist, guys. Buy the music. Rock on.